G'day and welcome to What Happens in the Shed, and welcome back to this video series on making electricity from wood. Right, so since the last video I've installed a small shop air reticulator system, and that has really made compressed air so much more convenient and user friendly. Not only that, the system also seconds as an air dryer, a passive air dryer that is. Okay, so the main thing in this video is I'll be fabricating the lid as well as the fire tube, and yeah, we'll see how far we get with the other internals of the fire tube, but I think just for now, yeah, just the lid and the fire tube. So I've got the the plasma cutter ready, so yeah, we'll start cutting some steel. Good stuff. That wasn't too bad. Thank you very much. Alright, we're back in business. Did have to put this on hold for a little while until I went and got some more stock. But we're good to keep going now. Yeah. Alright, let's see how we went. Yeah, not too bad. I probably did overbend it just a slight bit, but no, it's good. They'll conform quite easily. Oh yeah, that's not too bad. I knew the thing would come around. Alright, we'll cut the overlap here and hopefully they should meet. Oh, it's so close, just so close. I'll just take it a little bit more off. And then I think we're good. So the thing ended up being just a fraction too long. Alright, here we go. Well, that's pretty good. That's pretty good. I'd rather want it smaller than larger than the hole. It's always easier to stretch it back out than to squeeze it in, at least in this case. So yeah, I'll throw some clamps on it. We'll expand it out and then we'll cut off the overlap. Yeah. Right, so I've taken all the clamps off and the thing didn't go boing, so it will appear it hasn't distorted too much. Let's flip it over and see. Okay, well, I've got to say, doesn't seem to be rocking much, so looks like the compressed air trick works pretty good. And to the guy who suggested it in the comments, thank you very much. I think it looks like that's not a bad method. It's far more convenient than having a stick with a wet rag. Wet rag. That's such an awful term. There we go. Well, there is this slightest bit of rocking, but really, once you do up the bolts, it's yeah, it's not much at all. So this inner ring here, that's just there to stiffen up the whole lid. Without that, yeah, it wouldn't be quite as strong because the fire tube's going to sit in here, so there's going to be quite a bit of weight on it. Rightio, well, I guess that's pretty much it for the lid now. There's still more to go on to accommodate the fire tube, but that's for later. So yeah, we'll move on to the fire tube, and first thing there, I've got to make the base plate for the fire tube, which is the bit that's going to be sitting on here. Right, good. So just in case you haven't seen how I go about making my flanges and plates, basically this is the bottom plate for the fire tube, this is the plate for the choke, and that's the top flange for the fire tube. So I basically, in CAD, I basically lay out bits and pieces of flat bar, which is then welded together and then cut out. And yeah, then you end up with this, flanges and stuff like that. Okay, well, hopefully I didn't butcher the corners up too bad. They look pretty rough, but so that's the base, ground smooth, well, relatively smooth. So I'm just going to tack weld this bit of scrap in here, and that just gives me a center point for the circle cutting guide. So I'm just going to draw a circle here. I just want to confirm that it's actually going to fit on. Wow, that's close in some places. Oh, I didn't cut through. Still not cutting through. does cut through. Bloody hell, that's not pretty. I'm beginning to think that the adjustment I made here, the cutting head is too far off. So I think I might adjust it back and we'll have another crack at it. There we go. That's got to be close. Here she comes. Oh, bloody hell. That's hard work. This was supposed to be easy. Bloody hell, I'm making a mess here. What's going on? Yeah, strangely enough, it's easier to get a cut without using the circle cutting guide. Bit strange. So I might actually be able to turn the current down now because I've got it maxing out at 43 amps. Well, I finally got there, but geez, that didn't go to plan. What a lot of stuffing around. Yeah, it was quite interesting that using the circle cutting guide, I just wasn't getting anywhere. It was making a real mess of it. So just looking at my circle cutting guide, I think all the slag was beginning to pile up under here. So with this bottom here being flat, I think that's part of the problem. So as it builds up and piles up, the distance from the cutting head to the metal increases. So I might have to chuck this back in the lathe and machine a bit of a taper. Yeah, anyway, I guess that's how you learn these things. Rightio, so that's the base plate for the fire tube done, and plasma cutting makes the job quicker and somewhat easier, but it does mean that you do need to do quite a bit of grinding afterwards, although it wasn't too bad. Rightio, so yeah, I guess I probably need to sort out my plasma cutting technique, that's for sure. Yeah, I'm only a beginner there, so there's still plenty to learn. Okay, so that just leaves the top flange and the plate for the choke. Oh mate, have a look at this. This is horrendous. This is rough as guts. I cut this flange freehand, and that's because this circle cutting guide is just not working out on the thicker steel, even though if you have a look here, I did file a bit of a relief here, which did help with the build-up of slag under here. But the cutting tip of the plasma cutter, it just does not like being enclosed within this. So I need to do something different here, maybe modify this or make a new one. Anyway, for the time being, so I can't use this on that, and I'm definitely not going to attempt cutting this freehand either. So I think I've wasted enough steel for now, and it's not exactly getting any cheaper. So yeah, I've welded up a new flange, which is ready for cutting. But yeah, so no freehand, no using this. So yeah, I've got to come up with something different. and I'll show you what I come up with. Right, check out this thing. This is sort of my temporary, sort of quick and easy, cheap and cheerful, let's call it a flange jig. So I've got no remote trigger for the plasma cutter, so for the time being I'm just going to be using this cable tie. So it didn't start out too bad. This is okay. It was penetrating there. Then it started building up here, and then all the way around it didn't cut through. So I don't know what's going on. Yeah, it's a fair amount of slag stuck to the cutting tip. I really don't want to go back to cutting discs. I'm going to try again with the earth return clamp bolted directly to this. I have a feeling I wasn't getting a good enough return path through here. Well, that looks better. So here it is. It's definitely a lot better than the first one. Yeah, I've still got a fair bit to learn when it comes to plasma cutting. Actually, some of the inside, that is actually not bad. As you saw, I end up using my finger on the trigger. I was almost going to give it up and go back to cutting discs, but I think I'll persevere. So I'm going to bend the sheet metal for the fire tube. Now the way it's set up at the moment, the fold goes upwards. And this is no good in this case because it's going to hit the jack. So what I usually do there is I flip the punch and die around so the fold folds downward. But in the case of the fire tube, because of the diameter of the fire tube, it's not going to be able to fit around this. Right, so that's where this little contraption comes into the picture. It'll make a lot more sense once I put it in the press brake. So I think we'll start from the middle. Right, so I'm just going to take it easy here. I don't want to over bend it. So this is roughly the bend that I'm after for starters. So I set the stops, that way each bend should be the same. I get a much more even radius that way. Rightio, well that's a cylinder for sure. Yeah, that's a nice even shape too, so yeah, I'm pretty happy with that. And the overlap I was aiming for, I'm pretty close to that. Let's have a look at the flange. Oh yeah, that's not much more to go, so that's not a problem. I'll throw a ratchet strap on it and we'll squeeze it in. It's yeah, it's not going to take much. That much should do it. Not a problem, no worries. Go. Heaps of room. Alright, there's plenty of room here, so I've got a fair bit of overlap here. That's because I really squeezed it together. So I'm just going to clamp this and I'll mark where the overlap is, and that's where I'm going to cut it. Okay, let's release the ratchet strap. Alright, hang on to your hats. Whoa! Well, that filled out the flange really well. Let's have a look. It's not completely round down the bottom. There you go, that's all the bolts welded to the lid, and hopefully that should be a perfect seal. Anyway, this way, once I bolt the fire tube down, I am going to be using sealant, so that'll be fine. Yeah, rightio. Ah, how about that? Right, so, well, that's the fire tube, but it's far from finished. So the plan was, in this video, I was also going to do the air inlet and the producer gas outlet and the heat exchanger. That's what this bit here is for. But this video is getting on a bit. I'm kind of running out of time. I did waste a bit of time on my plasma cutter difficulties. Yes, I'm going to start winding this video up. I haven't quite been able to spend as much time on this as I would have liked, and that's because I've been rather busy with this other major project. So for the last 6 years I've been paving our driveway, which is quite long and steep, and that is a huge job, and it just takes so much. It takes a lot of resource in time and energy. So the plan is that I'm actually going to finish it this year. So at the time of filming this video, I've only got 57 meters left. Only. That's still a lot. So that's going to take me the rest of this month. But once I've finished paving our driveway, I'm going to have so much more time to spare to get stuck into all my other projects. So yeah, I can't wait for that. Okay, well, I'm gonna finish up here. So I do thank you for watching, and I hope to see you again. Until the next episode, cheers. I'll catch you later.